Hello, and a very warm welcome back to my channel. This video, we give you an opinion of Moir. She blasted Prince Harry for his hypocrisy. With every new development from his Californian base camp, with each fresh initiative that finds him strapping on his trusty crampons of wrath to scale newfound peaks of peak, I worry about Harry. I really do. He's just so furious all the time. Whatever next for our little lost prince as he negotiates what he believes to be the grim fairy tale of his so-called life. This week saw details emerge of the true Sussex mindset as papers were lodged in Meghan's upcoming case against our sister newspaper, The Mail, on Sunday. There were claims that the couple's wedding raised £1 billion in revenue for the UK, that the royal family did not take proper care of the Duchess when she was pregnant, that other royals did things that she was not allowed to do, and so on. It certainly channels into the victim narrative the pair favor as they repackage themselves for an American audience. But all that is for another day. It is Prince Harry who concerns me here. Indeed, he should concern us all. In a very short space of time, the 35-year-old has thrown life as he knew it into the bin, burning all his bridges as he went. He has abandoned his public and royal duties, his birthright, his military appointments, and much of his charity work to rush off to California with the woman he adores and their baby son. There he lives beyond his means behind the walls of a soulless McMansion, nestled in the chaparral shrubs high above Sunset Strip. Among neighbors who star in soap operas or are former wives of long-dead moguls, he abides by the diktats of a wife who appears to be deep in the embrace of a powerful savior complex, one that appears to have infected him too. This week, Harry was on the racist hunt, hectoring everyone about our unconscious bias, from what looked like the basement corridor leading to the butler's pantry in his new home. For many of us, a member of the British royal family earnestly lecturing the world on white privilege is more laughable than anything else. But Harry does not see the joke, or understand the rich seam of irony he seems determined to mine. We have been here before with the prince, who has previously preached about climate change while taking private jets on the sly, and urged the troubled to talk with professionals about mental health problems while providing little practical advice as to how this could be achieved. One wonders how all this will play out in America, where the neediest members of society have even less chance of accessing mental health experts than they do in the UK. In the meantime, behind the walls of their compound, all the Sussexes can do is ride out the pandemic and await the next acceptable bandwagon upon which they can jump together, no doubt holding hands. This week it was Stop Hate for Profit, an advertising boycott against Facebook, to which they offered their support. In an email to the organization, they asked which brands they could target on behalf of the pressure group. Please no. I imagined Harry with his years of marinated privilege and his half O-level in geography, getting on the blower to the sleek boss of Coca-Cola or Levi's or Unilever to tell them that they should and should not be doing with their marketing and advertising budgets. Cringe with their sense of self-importance and their £1 billion wedding. The Sussexes may have left royal life behind them, but they've still got more front than Buckingham Palace. The Stop Hate for Profit campaign is exactly the sort of fashionable, liberal, problematic, fraught cause to which courtiers from a constitutionally apolitical institution, such as the House of Windsor, would advise the Sussexes against touching with a royal barge pole and matching pegs on their noses. But there is no steadying hand on the tiller now, more's the pity. The great paradox is that the independent stateside Prince Harry needs the monarchy more than ever before. It is no secret that it is Prince Charles who foots most of the couple's bills, and it is Princess Diana who posthumously provides much of the goodwill that paves Harry's way to prominence in America. In the week that would have been his mother's 59th birthday, he gave out awards in her name via a Zoom link. Even with the best of intentions, using Diana's burnished legacy as part of his own personal marketing plan often feels wrong. Meanwhile, as part of their plan to become financially independent, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have signed on with New York-based Harry Walker Agency for speaking engagements, the same agency that commands fees of €322,000 for Barack Obama and half that for Bill Clinton. With the best will in the world, what is Harry going to say worthy of that kind of cash? His USP is that he was Diana's son and Diana died, and that his Trump, no capital letter needed card. But how long before Americans tire of this? The nearest thing America has ever had to a royal family of their own was the Kennedys. And the nearest thing the Kennedys had to a royal prince was John F. Kennedy, Jr., whose own father died in circumstances perhaps even more wretched than Princess Diana's. But John Frank Kennedy, Jr. got on with his life. Rather than using the tragedy of parental death as a sympathy prop, a lightning rod, a public barometer of his own feelings. Although he was later to die in tragic circumstances himself, he did not let it define him. Maybe one day Harry will do the same. In the meantime, we must listen to his pious homilies and try not to judge, but to understand his quest to conquer the yawning chasm in his soul. And in the latest drama, as I said at the top of our video, Meghan Markle has claimed she felt unprotected by the royal family during her time as a working royal, particularly during her pregnancy. She and Prince Harry's legal team also provided court documents claiming the royal wedding raised $1.25 billion. Reading claims like these, it's no wonder Meghan Markle says very little publicly, and what little she does say is heavily scripted. Let's break this down. The statement offered in court documents claims Meghan had become the subject of a large number of false and damaging articles in UK newspapers, specifically by Associated Newspapers titles, which caused tremendous emotional distress and damage to her mental health. I sympathize with anyone suffering from mental health issues, but there are 2 points that need raising here. When you are living the kind of life the royal family does, you are more able to insulate yourself than a regular person. So a newspaper says nasty things about you? Why would you care? You're out there spending over $500,000 on clothes and visiting with celebrity acupuncturists. Much like soccer players, celebrities don't have to read the negative headlines in the media. If I was on a $500,000 shopping spree, a copy of the Daily Mail isn't high on my priority list. The court documents continued. As her friends had never seen her in this state before, they were rightly concerned for her welfare, specifically as she was pregnant, unprotected by the institution, and prohibited from defending herself. That last claim confused me. Meghan Markle was prohibited from defending herself? Prohibited by who? Isn't she taking legal action against Associated Newspapers Limited right now? Isn't Duchess Kate Middleton considering legal action against Tatler magazine? There are laws in Britain allowing for any person, be they celebrities or not, to defend themselves should a media outlet make libelous claims. Meghan Markle is doing that, so her claim she was prohibited from defending herself is very odd. This claim is the ridiculous hill Meghan's fanbase is willing to die on, it would seem. Not only is it blatantly untrue, but what would Meghan have had the royal family do? Shut down the newspapers? Or maybe she wanted the journalists rounded up at one of the royal castles and flogged in front of a jeering public armed with rotten fruit? Newsflash, Meg, there's such a thing as freedom of the press. Journalists and people in general are allowed not to like you. This happens to celebrities every day. Do you think you're victimized? Ask Katie Hopkins about the abuse she gets, or Piers Morgan, or even your president. People say, write, and tweet nasty things about them all the time. That's life. If you want people to like you, try being a nicer person. You can't expect to marry into a British institution, act like a spoiled brat, spend a ton of public money on expensive clothes, then move to Los Angeles to cash in on the royal title, and not expect some backlash. It's absurd to accuse the royal family of not supporting Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they faced issues with the British media. We've seen Prince William publicly state support for the couple. We even saw Meghan invited to celebrate Christmas with the Queen in 2017, breaking a tradition reserved for members of the royal family. Duchess Kate Middleton was prevented from spending Christmas with the royal family when she and Prince William were engaged in 2010. So aware of the royal spotlight on Meghan was the Queen, that before the couple married, she offered her the chance of a smooth transition. A royal source speaking to The Sun claimed, "From the early days, the Queen really wanted to agree on a smooth transition for Meghan. The offer would have allowed her to carry on her career, but she was happy to stop acting to become a working member of the royal family." So, when Meghan Markle claims the royal family wasn't supportive of her during the past few years, the facts do not back up her or her fans' claims, right? If you agree with my opinion, remember to like and share it for anyone you think would also be interested. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get more news from the royal family by me. Now have a nice day and see you in the next videos.
Technology life is replacing handicrafts, and now the face of a person is creating masks for each new day. The fake disguise helps please all those who come into contact with Meghan without knowing her insidiousness. But when they found out it would backfire, large stones were thrown from the royal fans, enough that she built the mansion. The undeniable truth is that when Meghan used to have a limited view of what she did, she was selfish with her father, and now Thomas is alone under a tree in front of the house. It is worth considering.